Hello, this is David Baumblatt, and welcome to Terebinth Leadership. Today, we're going to be talking, I use the title Black Lives Matter, but generally the topic today is we're going to be talking about race, focusing on the African race, and again, the problem in America, whereas we as white people, if you don't recognize that race is real, then of course our country's done. Now, if you saw the opening video, I don't have it here, the word nigger, nigger, nigger is played a lot. So from a leadership standpoint, again, this is about free speech. It's a First Amendment audit. If you want to use the word nigger, go ahead. I think it's an impolite word. Again, I just don't think you should say it. If you want, do it. I've said many times, if you're angry or if you're trying to do humor, that's human nature, leadership. We should be more tolerant toward that. But everyday discussion, if you want to use the word nigger, go for it. I just think it's impolite, and I wouldn't normally use it in my normal speech. But again, it's a First Amendment audit. Why? What do I keep saying? And it's happened all the time where there's communist ideology that is being thrust in America. If they, the government, dictates how you could speak, they will dictate how you think. We have to have free speech. This goes with other topics too. In fact, I think probably the most taboo topic is about the Jews. But anyway, but I think we all agree that there are terms that are very impolite and you should not use them. But if you want, well, that's what freedom is. You go for it. So anyway, that I just want to make that sure about the nigger word, and something I would not normally use. It's impolite. But for a First Amendment audit, no one's going to control my speech. And if they are, then why did I serve in the military? Well, what's the whole part about being a military veteran if we're not fighting for the freedom of speech? I get it. There could be some elements of free speech, especially if you intentionally lie. You know, they always say the phrase of you can't shout fire in a burning building. Well, sure, if you lied about it, I think, and if you intentionally lie, that could be something where we could look at to say, hey, that's not protected speech. Then we get into hate speech, all this stuff. I get that, but it's gone overboard. We realize now that the pendulum of freedom of speech is so far in censorship that I think particularly white men, until they realize this, they're never going to wake up, because again, there's a lot of dogma that's being thrust in you. And I thank China for this. Why? China's probably one of the most racist places I've ever lived in the world. And being a racial minority, it just wakes you up. Anyway, you get my point, or we'll go through the videos. Let's go through some news, and everyone knows about Senator Lindsey Graham has died. What do I think about that? I don't know. Let's take a look at this video right here. Not like Americans care about military veterans. So you're like, David, do you not care that he's a U.S. senator and a politician? Well, these politicians don't care about military veterans. So if they don't care about military veterans, they don't care about U.S. citizens. So my feeling of the U.S. government, yeah, it is what it is. Don't really have much feelings for them. But anyway, let's go through this. This is Lindsey Graham in action. There's this guy, Jackson Hinkle. I find him a little amusing. I don't know if this guy's a full bore, I guess, communist and stuff like that. I find some of his commentary interesting. But anyway, we're going to go. And yes, we're going to do a little clip about Israel, because if we're going to talk about free speech, yeah, we got to talk about Israel too. But anyway, this is the Senator Lindsey Graham. Let's take a look at him real quick.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
To all of those in the U.S. military, you are currently fighting a war against the people of God. The gates of heaven will not be open for you. It's your duty to lay down your arms, to consciously object, and abandon your post.
I gotta know what I be on. I already told you, little boys, it ain't safe for the flight. If you nigga think it's so tough, why the fuck you don't?
You know, we're going to do a little thing on that. Don't worry, they'll do a clip. I don't know much about this guy, Jason Hinkle. I mean, the guy's just blasting off with millions and millions. I'm not going to argue with some of his views, but you know what he said about military veterans? Anyone who's read my book or knows my background, very proud that I graduated West Point. I'm not impressed with West Point anymore. It is what it is. In fact, there's something about General Patton that we're going to see here soon, which I think General Patton is one of the greatest West Point graduates to have ever graduated. And if you think I'm wrong, if General Patton was alive today, what would he think about West Point? But anyway, what's my point? And this is about leadership. You have to, it sounds kumbaya, free the mind, but we have so much indoctrination in America. So now we're going to talk about military veterans. Many people would look at, I guess his name, Jason Hinkle. I forgot his name. I don't know him that much. He's pretty interesting. I don't quite know where he's at in some ways. But anyway, talk about military veterans. You know, many times in leadership, it's black or white. Think about it. It's a soldier downrange. You either pull the trigger or you don't. It's kill or be killed. In leadership, you're trying to get away from in the gray, because part of leadership is decision making. It's yes or no. So what do I mean about military veterans? Either you support the troops, which you don't. I mean, look at me. I'm technically, or was MAGA, whatever. The MAGA, we support the military. We don't. We just have to come to a conclusion. Our military, our government does not support military veterans. The American public does not support military veterans. Just come to the truth on that. But if you do, then back it up. Most people don't. Or notice what Jason Hinkle was saying, how he would be unpatriotic. Then say you do not support military veterans. Because you want to know what? They're government mercenaries. I mean, do you really think these American military veterans are like, I'm going to bomb the shit out of Iran, I'm going to kill people because I want to protect the freedoms of the American people? No, they're doing it for a paycheck and a pension. They are government mercenaries. Generally speaking, it is what it is. So if you want to move the needle it's the same thing by finally saying, you know something, I don't believe diversity is our strength anymore. I know, and I was indoctrinated with too. I know if I don't say this, I'm going to get in trouble. But the truth is the truth. I don't think diversity is our strength. Now it's coming out. Well, guess what? I have the strength to say, as a West Point grad, I will support you. Not like I'm have any platform here, but at least personally. But if you say, David, I don't support military veterans. I don't back, whatever. I don't back the blue. I don't back military veterans. I don't thank them for their service because they're only serving the globalist government, serving Israel, whatever you want to call it, but they're not serving the American people. What would I say? Don't have any arguments for me. And maybe that's the way to end these wars, even though I still believe in a strong military. We all. In fact, I've said many times, some people want to absolutely abolish the intelligence community. I still believe that nations, there is a purpose for intelligence, there is a purpose for law enforcement, and there is a purpose for military. But the needle in these areas is so much blown out of proportion that our security apparatus, they're not protecting the American people. You're out of there. So if you're going to say, like the typical MAGA cult, I back or I support military, no, you don't. The amount of comments that I've gotten that I've just said, listen, can you help me? Can you press, repost? Why am I on the federal terrorist watch list? They don't care. So we're talking out our asshole on that. We don't mean it. Or maybe have the courage, unless you really believe that the military is protecting you, okay. But if you really believe, which I do, that our government is filled, our military is filled with government mercenaries, then maybe it's time when someone says, do you support the military veterans? Do you support the military? No, no, I don't. Why? That's unpatriotic. No, I think what's unpatriotic is our military working for the military industrial complex, these globalist politicians, you could say Israel, whatever, and not for the American people. I mean, but this is why I use the word nigger. I know it relates. It's an impolite word. I'm telling you, I would never use this word in normal context. But we have to start understanding our speech is being controlled more and more and more. And you've just got to say, are we going to have freedom of speech? Meaning, so if we destroy Iran is completely destroyed. Or let's destroy China too. Let's destroy China. Let's destroy Russia. Let's take Greenland. Let's take Venezuela. Okay, are we then going to get our freedom of speech? Like who's holding back our freedom of speech? What do I keep saying? Probably the globalist government and the globalist corporations, stuff like that. But anyway, Lindsey Graham is what it is. This is an interesting story. This goes into Lindsey Graham right here. We're going to go into the next. And I don't know if you know this bimbo. Let me pull this down here. I'm not a fan of this woman. So anyway, she's obviously thinking, wow, this is her time. Now remember, this is Nancy Mace. It doesn't say it, but she's also looking at now running for senator now that Lindsey Graham is gone, and she calls the Democrat Party communist. Now, let me just comment this. Make it known, I am not a supporter of the Democrat Party. Not into those at all. I'm not into any of these other MAGA politicians, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. Could you say Trump, I swallowed the Kool-Aid with Trump? Well, I mean, what Trump preached was different than what he's doing. But I was only really interested in Trump. So anyway, I want to make that known when she's like, because I'm about to bash her. And so people were like, are you defending the Democrats? Not at all. But this is a MAGA leader. And she's talking about communism. What did I keep saying? Feminism, communism, globalism. She is not a Democrat. She's accusing the Democrats of communism. She's MAGA. What's MAGA? I don't know. Patriotism, nationalism, that's garbage. And who is she? She's a politician. She, as a congresswoman, has more money and more power and influence than 99% of Americans. Of course, she defends women's right to vote, and she's our leader. What does that make her? 100% she's a feminist. 100%, and she's MAGA. And then she wants to call she is communism. I've got background information on her. We're about the same age. I knew about her when she went to the Citadel. Her father, she's a whore. She's a professional cocksucking whore. It is what it is, but let's put the facts that it is. She is a feminist, 100%. She's a strong, rich, influential politician. If you think that is a traditional woman, then our definitions of traditional woman are out of sync. But here she is, the feminist, accusing the Democrats of being communism. These people are communism. I find, like I said, I find MAGA mostly to be liberals anyway. But anyway, that's her. She's eyeing to be the next senator for North Carolina now, or South Carolina, that Lindsey Graham is dead. Whatever, people. Like I said, I don't have faith. In fact, there's a guy, I should put it, I'm trying to forget your name. I'm going to post that picture. I think you said by way of ballot or bullet, the system's going to change. I'm going to take that picture from you. Thank you very much. I'm going to put it up on, I'll do a little video on it. This system is not going to last, people. It's going to change. Anyone with common sense knows this. But anyway, let's go to the next one here. And we're going to talk about another important death, or not death. This person died a while ago. But let's pay some homage to this person here. 1 second. Let's bring this up. And who is this? This is General Patton. And what do I keep saying about General Patton? You know, I think I wrote right there. Hopefully everyone can see that. Yeah, what if General Patton was alive today? One of probably the best West Point graduates that West Point ever produced. Do you think if General Patton was alive today and have seen the aftermath of World War II and what has created what I consider the American globalist corporate empire, he would say, wow, that was a really good decision to kill the Germans. What do you think he would have said? I don't know. Or at the very least, what do you think General Patton would think about West Point now and our military leadership? Probably not good. Even Donald Trump agrees with me. That's why he got Pete Hegseth in. He's even said the military has gone to shit. But what do you think General Patton would be? It's interesting because we focus a lot on World War II. General Patton is probably such a keystone in that battle and that war. If he was alive today, what do you think? I don't think he would have fought the Germans. I think he would have said, no, not a good idea. But that would skew the entire narrative of many countries, to include America. But anyway, something about that death. But Lindsey Graham, I guess we're all paid. Lindsey Graham knows about me too, but he ignored. He was too busy thanking military veterans. Anyway, let's go another thing right here. And like I said, just to make everything equal, I know we're going to be talking about blacks, but people are like, well, if we're going to talk about censorship, we got to talk about the Jews. Megan, no, I have no problem. I like the Jewish people. I have no problem with the Jewish people. But if anyone thinks that this Zionism in Israel doesn't have an influence on me, if you replace the influence that Israel has, you know, think about our allies like Britain, Canada, and Germany. I'd say the same thing. Meaning, if American politicians had German flags in their office think about it's the same logic I have. I believe we need to stop giving money to Israel. I don't know, maybe a little bit. I get alliances. You give a little. What did I say about NATO? But what I don't agree with Donald Trump is we still should have an alliance with our European brothers. But we need to stop paying for them because it's breaking the bank of the middle class Americans. So I like my German brothers, my French brothers, my British brothers. But it's time we stop paying for your NATO. And it's time for you little boys, which you are, you're an American colony, to grow up, pay your own money, and to build a strong military. Well, it's the same thing with I'd said in Israel. If Israel wants to go to this war in Iran, yeah, knock yourself out. I could care less. Same thing with Russia. I mean, I get the whole isolationist. There will be a time that even America, we got to say, when do we get in? When do we get out? But we are so overstretched with foreign wars. We're going to break the bank. So I say again, Ukraine and Russia and Taiwan and Beijing and Iran and Israel, sometimes you got to let the people fight it out and you got to pick and choose your battles. But our country is falling apart. So to Israel, I don't have a problem with them. Israel, if you want to get a war with Iran, yeah, knock yourself out. With American military might, with American taxpayer, no, not into that. Same thing with the Germans. I like the Germans. I think they're good people. They're cocks. We killed all the good testosterone out of World War II. It's our fault. But it is time, one, we stop paying for the German defense, and it is time for Japan, time for Germany, but I was about to say, along with Japan, to build. It's time for them to get stronger, and we will respect, because I see these images of Donald Trump, and I get it. It makes sense where Donald Trump is like the daddy in Europe, and I get it, because I've said I've served in NATO. We run NATO. But to the Europeans, don't you guys feel like cocks? I mean, don't you? It's like Denmark. Denmark, do you think there's a relationship that you have a female, whatever it's called, I guess it's called a prime minister or president in Denmark? You have a female prime minister, and America is just shitting over you. You're an embarrassment to Denmark. I mean, think about it. I've said this many times. What if Canada did the same rhetoric to us with Alaska? We would declare war on Canada. We would never let them talk to us. So Denmark, there comes a time that if you act like a cuck, you're going to get treated like a cuck. If you act like a man, you're going to get treated like a man. It's time for you to build your strength, and America will respect you more. Maybe it's time to elect a man as your prime minister or president. It's your politics. Do what you got to do. But when I see countries, if you're a man and you prefer a woman to be your leader, something homosexual is about you. It just is. Now, there are times I would choose, like I think it's France Le Pen. I would reluctantly vote for Le Pen if I was a Frenchman, but I still would prefer a man. But if I looked around, I think even the AfD in Germany, it's a lesbian woman who's dating or has a partner with a brown woman. I mean, that's far right, but if that's the farthest of the right for Germany, I guess I would reluctantly vote for a woman. But it's not my preference. I want a man. And preferably, if it's a European country, which America is, give me a European man. That would be it. So I go back to Denmark and this sort of thing. The same thing I'm trying to relate to Israel. It's my same thing with Europe, and that is we could still be allies and friends, but it is time for you to pay your own way, to build up your own strength, and you'll find that your relationship with America will improve. Because Donald Trump, like it or not, I understand him in some parts. He's sort of like these other strongman leaders. Same thing in China, same thing in Russia, where if you're not a strong man, people don't respect you. The same thing, think about it. Donald Trump went to China to kiss ass. Why? Xi Jinping's powerful. What is he doing to your prime minister in Denmark? Doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't care. Why? Because you're weak. I don't know whatever happened to your Viking DNA, but I'm telling you, you guys are weak. So I would say is we could still be brothers and friends because we're Europeans. We share so much history and culture. But I would many times look at Donald Trump as actually giving you what I consider hard medicine, meaning you don't like him today, but what he's doing to you in the future, you're going to appreciate it. And that is you need to become more independent, stronger, and just have more patriotism, more nationalism. But how you are allowing America to walk all over you, particularly in Greenland, it's pathetic. And when I see that your leader's a woman, so anyway, I don't want to relate it, but anyway, so anyone who thinks I'm always with the Jews, we're gonna do a story on Jewish. But I make it known, I don't really have a problem with the Jewish people. I like them, but the same reason I said Denmark is being a cuck to America, I find Americans are cucks to Israel. Like for instance, I find Europe to be an American colony. I find America to be a colony of Israel. So I don't know. I mean, Americans, if you want that, if you want the Jews to be the chosen people, if you want the Jews to be your leaders, I guess so, and have a blast with it. But I don't, even like the USS Liberty, that thing, I don't actually blame Israel for that. I know if I get technical, but who betrayed America? Was it the Israeli government? Or ding, 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 maybe the U.S. government betrayed you. So again, if Americans enjoy America being an Israeli colony, well, knock yourself out and do it. Like I said, I left America. This, just like that photo, I'm forgetting your name. I wish I got it, but you put it in my, if you're on the comments, say in your comments, but you put something like this is going to change by bullet or by ballot. This thing is just not going to work. It's going to get worse. Anyway, let's go to let's look at today's video on the Jews. So that way we have equal opportunity right here. Let me come here. 1 second. Let me share my screen. And here we go. Do a little video.
Audience members that the British are trying to invade. Once again, if I say it's the Russians, if I say it's the Chinese, okay, fine, no big deal. All right, you know, if that's what we have to do, you know, war sucks, war is hell. But if we got to do it, we got to do it. But if I say it's the Jews, so think about that. What is your reaction to that? Whoa, the Jew. Are you some kind of anti-Semite? Are you some kind of Nazi? You know, what's your reaction to that? I mean, when I said the British are invading, imagine that. Okay, the British are invading, British are taking over. Okay, fine. You're fine with that. When I say the Chinese are invading, blah, 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 you're fine with that. As soon as I say the Jews, suddenly you have an issue. You have to check yourself. You know, examine your mind. What type of information are you receiving that's making you think this way? Is it, for instance, because, I don't know, every year there's about 5 at least key movies, at least 2 major movies, I would say, about the Holocaust, and then plenty of other smaller ones about World War II, blah, 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 and they all deal with, you know, it's the Hitler and the Nazis and blah, blah. I swear to you, and I promise you this, if you were to randomly pick out the, I don't know, just think of the top 10 movies that you've liked, you know, over the past year that have come out, I swear to you that the vast majority of them will have a reference to the Holocaust, Nazis. It'll have the word Nazi in it, or it'll have the word Hitler in it, or it'll have something about being an anti-Semite, or it'll have something about being Jewish, being proud to be Jewish. So you are constantly being reminded, Jewish people are okay, Hitler bad, Holocaust bad, or fucking being mind controlled, and that's how it is. You are being fucking mind controlled to think this way. I mean, think about if, you know, every year there was like a huge movie. What was the last one? Valkyrie with Tom Cruise. Oh no, that wasn't even the last one. We also had the Inglorious Bastards.
Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah. Inglorious Bastards. You know, I mean, this is the kind of shit. You know, what if every year you had a couple of huge blockbuster level movies that were like, you know, don't fight the British. The British are good. Americans are bad. You are fucking bad for fighting the British. Da 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 da. I mean, what is this fucking drilled into your head over and over again? I mean, what would you be thinking? If this was a show about fuck the British, suddenly you would be like, man, what the fuck? Dude, the British are great. Hold on a minute. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, what if I told you that the majority of Congress right now is Chinese, and that 90-something% of the porn industry is controlled by the Chinese, and that almost every major feminist leader is Chinese, and that almost every single gun control law that's been put into place was put in place by a Chinese politician? Wouldn't you be like, holy shit, are these motherfuckers trying to take us over? I think so. I think we got to do something about the Chinese now. Yeah, sure, that's the conclusion. Duh. Okay, fine. Let's go fucking hunt these fuckers down, get them out of our fucking country, right? Simple. Okay. But as soon as I say Jew, you know, I mean, this is the kind of situation that we're dealing with, guys. It's a programming issue, and you've got to move beyond it, and you have to see them as an enemy that must be destroyed.
Okay, let's I thought that would be a good video for equal opportunity. No, like I said, I don't have any problem with the Jews, but I can see why people dislike the Jews, meaning the influence that they have over in America. And I do think when it comes to freedom of speech, remember, we're going to be talking about the black racial topic, but I would probably say the most taboo subject in America is, World War II, the Jews, or this or that. And the reason why I focus on white people, calling white people cocks, just like I said with Denmark, is if you are a white nationalist, for lack of the first people that would be in your face wanting to send you to jail is probably going to be white people. I have no doubt about it. The first people that would be in my face would be like, you're a racist, you're anti-Semite, and fuck it, whatever, just let America go. You can't convince these people. You cannot convince these people. So you go back to what I guess it was his name, Jason Hinkle, when he said about don't appreciate or with the American military, like they're not serving you. At the end of the day, do we or do we not are in America, are we going to have freedom of speech? Yes or no? I think it's getting worse and worse and worse. So again, today's the subject about blacks, but you don't think we can make a whole topic about the Jews? And I've said this many times. We're going to get to the black people. Let me just make one statement. I've said many times, I know a lot of Jewish people. I like them. But I did say, there's a reason why many times the Jews are disliked, kicked out of a lot of countries. There's just something about them, and I get that. I even think it's in my DNA in some ways. That everywhere I go, I'm leaving. Like there's something about being a change agent for good or for bad. But I've said, generally speaking, if Jews could do 3 things in Western countries, they will be welcome. Number one, you're going to have to admit it is a Christian-first country. Christianity comes first. Even me, I told you, growing up, I studied Taoism. I think it's awesome for you to study Islam and other religions, which is great, freedom. But there'll be only one religion that is officially recognized, Christianity. Just like in Israel, Judaism is officially recognized as the only religion. I get that. So if you live in Europe or America as a Jew, you got to say this is a Christian first. Second, you got to say this country belongs to the white man. In China, I don't even have to say it. It's known. This country belongs to the Chinese man. And if you disagree or do anything that's going to be opposite to that, you're going to get in a lot of trouble in China. So China belongs to the Chinese man. Why can't Western countries, European countries, belong to the European man? As long as you admit that. And 3, you have to be okay with freedom of speech. Because I think there's a lot of white people that are pissed off and they just want to say these words like, nigger, or, you Jews should have died in the ovens. That's really negative words. And I don't advocate, but I think people are pissed off. And I think a lot of people are like, man, I wish I would have said it. But once you have freedom of speech and you don't feel like you're targeted, you're not going to say those words. Unless maybe sometimes you're angry, or unless maybe you're doing a joke. But there's no way I'm going to go to a black man and say, hi, nigger. It's an impolite word. But if you know in the back of your mind that you have freedom of speech, but you ever see this with a black man who threatens you, I dare you to say the N-word. I'm not playing that fucking game. I mean, I'm a military veteran. If I want to say a certain word for freedom, I want to do that. And if that means with the Jews too, then so be it. But we also, like I said, I think once freedom of speech is given, then people, it's not going to feel weaponized anymore. And if it's not weaponized, meaning you have your freedom, then it's impolite. I don't think people are going to say these words, unless, like I said, sometimes they're pissed off or they're trying to tell a joke. But I think anyone with common sense knows the amount of censorship that I face, that you're probably facing. Our freedom of speech is dying before our eyes. And this war in Iran is not going to bring back freedom of speech like any others. So we're going to go now to the black people. Now, to the black people, I've seen a big difference. And the one thing I've seen is I've seen how blacks are treated in Asia, and it ain't good. It ain't good. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was also indoctrinated in America. The white man's racist, America's racist. It's not, believe it or not, the white man is the least racist person on earth. Nobody treats women, racial minorities, and immigrants better than the West. There is still racism in America. I'm not that, but we are the lowest, meaning Western white countries, the lowest. So I'm telling you, if you're a black person, if you don't like the way you're treated in the West, where you're going to go. I mean, this is what I said about black people don't care about black people. You people don't even want to go to Africa. Like, you would rather, and then they'll do stories. You show me a black man or a black woman with money and privilege, guess where she's going to go, or he's going to go? To the white neighborhood. Don't think so? Here's another video, pretty interesting. And this is about, let me see if this is coming up. This is about, I don't even follow these people, but you know the Serena Williams sisters. I don't know. They're 2 black professional athletes, tennis players. So 2 black women. And what have I said many times? Show me a black man with a lot of money, I'll show you a white wife. Now, well, I have a problem with both of them, but the white wife is an absolute prostitute. You know, I don't look at her high. She's a prostitute, and she should be deported to Africa if she likes black people so much. But she's a prostitute. But a black man with money, boom. Do you think it's the same with black women? Absolutely, absolutely, it's the same. And we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to do some positive things with black women on here because I know it. I've said many times the truth hurts, and I don't want to say this. If you say speech with your intention to hurt people, that's unprofessional. But if you say it with the sole purpose to just purely educate because you know white people are being indoctrinated, then it's different. But I am going to say some positive things about black women, but it is what it is. Asian men and black women are just at the lower levels of attractiveness. Don't talk to me about it. Talk to the eyes, the eyes of the beholder. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Talk to the audience around the world. That's how they are. But anyway, these are two black women, but the difference between these two black tennis stars is they're rich. They got a lot of money. So anyway, let's go on to this, which I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, I got that here. Let me bring this up. Okay, let's play this little clip here.
Very interesting to me. Venus and Serena Williams, both of them, not just one, both of them married white guys, which maybe you don't care. Maybe that's not important. But why it is somewhat relevant, at least, is because both of them are.
Yeah, by the way, I care. You know why I care? Because race is real. Let's face it. You know, how many people, let me do this. This is why also I believe the Republican MAGA people are cocks. Can we stop caring about race, man? It's just, well, you know, MAGA now is big into gender now. Now they're big into gender. But they always say, what a cuck when people talk about, does it, race matters? It matters. Now there's other things, the character, and I get it. There's no doubt. You could be an honorable person and you do honorable acts. And I do believe your actions are more important than your race. But when you think of culture, certain races have certain actions, makes their culture. But at the end of the day, the first thing I want with someone is, what are their actions? But when you group people together, racial groups, it happens naturally, there are certain actions, some good, some bad, and it comes out. But when people talk about, does it really matter their race? Yeah, it matters to me. Like if your son or daughter came home and said, Mom, Dad, I found a man and a woman that I'm going to marry, going to have children with, and I'm in love with. And you said, hey, what's the race? And your daughter or son says, Mom, Dad, is it really important what their race? Fuck yeah, it's important. Yes. I want to know what, hey, and to all the white people that are nervous with the Jews, guess what? To the Jews, it's important. Are they racially Jewish or not? Ask the Jews. Very important. What's wrong? It's like that in China. I don't understand, because if these were the liberal libtards who said this, I guess it would make sense, because MAGA always likes to make fun of the liberals. But MAGA would say that. MAGA would say that. They would say, even this guy, Charlie Kirk, where I don't want to do negative stuff on him, but there's going to be clips other that when he talks to this, I don't know, he's on that retarded sign where it doesn't matter what your race is. It does. It does. I mean, you look in the mirror. Does it matter what your race is? Like if tomorrow we could change your race and you're Samoan or Egyptian or I don't know, Hindu, do you think it doesn't matter? It matters to me. And it matters to my children. So you hear this all the time from MAGA, you know, the hardcore MAGA. They're like, race doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Gender matters, race matters. Why wouldn't? It's pretty important. Here we go.
BLM activists and serious liberals, constantly pushing liberal stuff, constantly pushing liberal propaganda, while at the same time, just like Kamala Harris, they are not married to a black individual. It's a little strange, perhaps. I mean, maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe you don't care. But there's some amount of hypocrisy to trying to turn the country into one thing, but then your own personal choices are completely different. To say one thing, to have one face publicly, and in your private life, both of you guys, one to Andrew Purdy, who is also famous in his own right, the other one to tech entrepreneur Alex Ohanian.
All right, we got that. I mean, we don't need to This I'm going to do another. Well, actually, there's one more clip. We'll do one more clip about this. It's pretty interesting. 1 second, let me share it, and then we'll get with the story. This is the other sister. I don't know I guess it's Venus and Serena. But I guess she was. It says here she got pissed off with the camera, but she looks like a strong black. So news to you, there's going to be another clip here later that says black. I think if I remember I don't even have to watch these clips so much. I just know what it is. Why? Now there's always anomalies. When I say these clips, we're talking racial clips and gender clips. There's always going to be anomalies, but there is a pattern that I'm seeing. Just like David, it's so weird. She's an Asian woman and her dream is a white passport, a white man, and white kids. Yeah, not every Asian woman, but 99.99% of Asian women. But I never said everyone. So there's a pattern in this. One of these is a black woman is married to a white man, and it has a low divorce rate. What do I think about that? Well, unfortunate. It's not, I didn't make the rules, but black women are on the lowest level of attraction in the dating market. Who has the highest attraction level in the dating market? White men. It sounds egotistical. I didn't make the rules again. It just is what it is. I didn't go to Asia, and I never went to Asia for the women. Anyone knows me. I was studying Chinese before the age of puberty, so it had nothing to do with sex. But I didn't go to Asia and say, Asian women, you must worship white men. Not me, but it's them. So what's my point? You have an attraction here because most divorces, the women, I mean, the women are horrible with divorce. They're initiating divorces, ruining men. You know, it's like hopping the ticket here. They go from one monkey branch to another to get money. So it's usually the woman. So you have a black woman and a white man married, and it has the highest level of, I guess you'd say non-divorce or highest level of stability, you know, where they don't get divorced. Why? What's my theory? Well, you have a black woman. And she realizes over years and years of the dating market, rejection. And then she gets a white man where she realizes this, just like the black man getting a white woman, I hit the lotto, meaning the black woman. And she realizes that if she divorces this man, she's then not only going to be on the rough dating market as a black woman, she gave up her highest level as a white man. Pretty interesting, pretty rude, pretty racist. You take it however you want. But if you think I'm wrong, let's see where it goes. But anyway, that's one of the theories. But just like these two superstar tennis players, why didn't they get a Chinese man? Why didn't they get an Indian man? Right? Now, of course, there'll be anomalies. Say, I know a black woman and she chose a Chinese. That's just fantastic. I'm sure that's called an anomaly. Same thing with the black men. They always say, the rich NBA star who's with a white woman. He's like, I chose a white woman because these black women are they're horrible. They have bad attitudes. Okay, well, then why don't you choose an Asian woman? I could tell you from a white man, I love the white woman's DNA. But I'm telling you, I've dated tons of Asian girls. Asian women's submissiveness toward the master white man is head and shoulders above any white woman. So to the black man, if you don't like black women's attitudes and you want a woman that's, submissive to you, I don't know, Indian women, Asian women, Hispanic women, I think the black men are saying, screw that. These white women are the most beautiful women in the world. Can't argue with that logic. And then they use their money and they basically buy a white female prostitute. So anyway, we talk about it. These are uncomfortable topics, but we go. What I want to do too is before I go, I want to do this quick on Tucker Carlson. I don't know what's going on with Tucker Carlson. I don't know what this clip is, but if you know my views on Tucker Carlson, I wasn't a big fan of him when he was with Fox News. And he was okay. I still thought he was a cop. But then if you notice my videos, he's now speaking a lot more truth to power. But I don't know where this is a recent clip. He's back on the race doesn't matter. I don't care if everyone in this country is non-white and I'm the only white man. It's all about that. This is coming from a man who's never lived as a racial minority like I have. So I don't know. So I guess he hasn't woken up enough on this part. But this is Tucker Carlson. I'm a little disappointed on him with this, but he's another cuck white Republican, even though he wants to do his own party. But I'll tell you, his views of race, retarded. Because again, he's the type of guy, I guess he thinks gender is real, but when it comes to race, it doesn't matter. It's just the color of our skin. Here goes Tucker.
Office. So it's not a win to get Latinos in office. Like, I don't even get that. I'm not
Allege that immigrants
I'm not a
make cities
racist,
dirty,
so I don't see
but that's
the
a
word.
racist comment.
I just need to stop. This whole, to the white men out there, if they call you a racist, the first thing I would say is stop. Don't ask stupid questions. I'm a white man, which makes me the least racist group in the world. Least. You think Asian men? You think African men? You think Arab men? You think Indian men? So don't talk stupid questions. Now, it's possible, though, that there's a white man who's really, really a racist. But again, we're doing generalization. If you're a white man, and I guess Eastern Europe to be a little different. I know people, I've talked with some Russians here and there. They're a little different. But we're talking Western white men. We are the least racist people in the world. So when you have a retard already accusing me, David, before we begin this interview, I just got to know, are you a white supremacist? Are you a racist? I would say, just remember, there's no such thing as stupid questions, but there is such thing as stupid people asking questions. I am a white Western man. That is a retarded question because I'm in the category of the least racist men in the world. Let's continue on with the interview, and I'm not going to reply to that stupid question. Here we come to Tucker, though, about I'm not a racist. It gets old, this stuff.
That is a racist
No, what
comment.
the racist comment would be to say, I'm thrilled that there are Latinos in office. I don't care if there are Latinos in office.
Oh, geez. I thought, I don't know where Tucker is. I thought he changed from Fox, but I guess he's not. But I'll let you listen to this. But very big disappointment on Tucker here.
Because I'm not a racist. So
But
I
in
don't
the
care
same
what
way that
color they
people-
are.
Like I said, if you're a white man and you have to defend yourself of saying, I'm not a racist, you're already falling into the cuck bucket.
call you
I want-
anti-Semitic, and you get very upset when people call you
I
anti-Semitic.
don't get
It's
upset.
like
I'm over it. I don't see, but so that's not how my brain works. I don't care if there are Latinos in office. It doesn't interest me at all.
I do. I care, Tucker. I care.
Care if there are good people in office.
Oh,
So it's not a
geez.
win to get Latinos in office. Like, I don't even get that line of thinking because I don't care about Latinos as Latinos. I care about people as people.
Okay, I don't know where Tucker is. He was making, to me, I feel like he changed after Fox. Maybe it's the topic of Israel that he's changed. I don't know. But if I'm speaking with someone who says, either race doesn't exist, race is not real, or in their own country, I don't care what race these people are, which means I guess you wouldn't care if you're a racial minority. And you got to remember, my leadership symposium is this. These people like Tucker, or whatever, the MAGA, the Democrats, particularly white men, when they sell you on this, I don't care what race they are. The number one question is have you ever lived as a racial minority? That should either be a yes or a no. Now, there's different levels of racial minorities. Maybe you're 49% as a white person, or you're less than 1%. But if you're the lower you get, the more of an impact you're going to feel. But probably my guess is with Tucker, he was born, raised, and worked and lived in America in basically majority white communities his whole life. Fox News, white people, wherever he lived, white. So a very logical leadership question is if you're making the hypothesis that being a racial minority is who cares? We're all the same. It doesn't matter. But you've never experienced that. How do we know? How do you know? I know. I grew up in America, mostly white. We growing up, my father did a little bit of the white flight when I was 10 years old. We got out of New York City. There were some issues with the blacks there. I like black people many times, but there's difference. There's different cultures, and I believe in the whole good fences make good neighbors theory. But generally growing up in America, and then I went to Germany and Switzerland thinking, wow, that's an international experience. Well, that's mostly white people, even though Europe is changing now. There's no doubt about it. But when I went to Germany, that would have been like, in the year 2000, it was still a bunch of white people. Switzerland too. China's not. I tell you, China is the Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory. So I have experience, like military leadership, when you tell the officer, have you been to combat before? Have you done this combat maneuver before? No. People are like, oh, geez. we're gambling with this lieutenant, with this captain, versus a war-hardened captain that says, this is my third combat deployment. I've been in this territory. I've taken fire and I've given fire. I know what I'm getting into. All right, that builds my confidence versus some military leader who has zero combat experience. So same thing about racial minorities. Have you lived as a racial minority? Yes or no? Tucker Carlson? No. So how do you know? I could tell you, I have no problem with the Chinese. I like them. I would never give them citizenship to Western countries, but I like the Chinese. But I'm telling you, if you're a racial minority like me living in a foreign land, whatever, as a tourist, or you just want to be an expat, yeah, knock yourself out. Live in Africa. I think it's cool. Go to Africa, live with the blacks, and you'll learn from them. But I'm talking about our home country. You do not want to be a racial minority in your home country. Don't think so? Let it happen. It's gone. So I don't know. There was something I liked about Tucker, but whatever. He's in another one. Now we're going to talk about another guy. I don't know this guy, but he's speaking some truth. Whoever this guy is, he's speaking some truth to this. And I've said this many times. Same thing when I thought about West Point. What made West Point great? The people, not these honor codes or duty on our country, the people. This is what he's talking about, people versus the Constitution.
Flag now, today, represents what made America so great was white people, not the Constitution, not the Bill of Rights or the flag or the Enlightenment or rugged individualism. The American flag now, today, represents a Zionist-occupied government of an increasingly non-white country that is in direct opposition to the people whose ancestors created it. And it seeks to violently replace us. If you're standing up for white people today, if you're here at a NOVA event, then you're standing against the American system. We are not conservatives, we are revolutionaries. We are not American nationalists, we are white nationalists.
Yeah, I've heard this before about civic nationalism or American nationalism. I think it's called Patriot Front. I'm not against Patriot Front. Some people say that the feds, but whatever. Let them go. I think they're doing right. But the topic of race seems to be danced around a lot. Well, it's white people. I don't understand. Well, I don't know why can't you say that? You go to these other non-Western countries. You go to Israel. I have nothing against the state of Israel. I feel sorry for the Palestinians, and I do feel that the Palestinians deserve their own country because they are people. But anyway, what made Israel? Well, Jewish people, right? What made China? I mean, without the Chinese people, probably not China. Why can't we say that in America or definitely Europe that maybe in order to have a European country, we probably need European men? America has a little diversity, but it was founded by white men. And I get it. It's a little more complicated. And maybe there's blacks out there that says, well, what's in it for me? I'm okay with America just splitting, and maybe because we've passed the Rubicon, so it's going to split, and maybe the blacks take a territory, this territory. I think the Europeans, though, they need to hold there. I don't think there should be any splitting. You know, a small country like Denmark, you probably need to hold your land. But to me, if you said, well, David, what's the solution in America? The white, what's going to happen to all the non-white people? Well, who is to blame for America's problem? White men. 100% white men to blame. It's leadership 101. It is our responsibility. So now we have a bunch of non-whites in America. What do we do with them? I'd probably say, because I think a lot of whites don't really care anymore that we still have 50 states. Think about the MAGA. They don't care about growing. Oh, yeah, let's take Greenland. Let's take Canada. So I guess growing the empire is okay. I could care less if the empire shrinks. So I don't know, maybe white America, we get 30 states, maybe 40 states. And then, yeah, so the blacks, I mean, it doesn't have to be, I'm not into 100%, it doesn't have to be 100% white, but what do we do with these? And, obviously the illegal immigrants, that's simple. They need to get kicked out. But what about those that are legally here that aren't white? Because multiracial societies don't work. I think America's just going to split. And so I don't know, to the blacks, you'll take a couple states. Good luck to you, whatever, the Mexicans. I think that's what's going to happen because I think less and less Americans are like, well, do I really care? Think about it. If you're a conservative, do you really care about the state of California, where it's going? Care less. I think more Americans are going to start getting that. But anyway, But anyway, it goes back to the point. Why is it so difficult to say that a key component to Western countries is the Western white European man? Don't understand. What's the problem with that? The Chinese don't. Anyway, here's something else that I find is pretty interesting.
All the white states with
even something like diversity. I mean, if you look at voting patterns, whites who experience diversity tend to be far more responsive to issues like immigration. If you tell whites that they're going to be a racial minority, they care a lot more about it.
Well, it reminds me of Jesse Jackson's campaigns to be president. It's all the white states with no diversity at all. That's where he got the most votes.
Oh, 100%.
It's the people who learn about blacks from Time magazine.
They're so friendly and funny on TV. They could dance for the children and play games.
Like I said, I say again, if you can name me the country that is successful multiracial, let's do it then. Let's mimic them. You know, all these non-whites that are coming to America and Europe, they're coming from countries that are ethno-nationalism, that are not multiracial. So think about it, how ridiculous it is. You have people, non-whites, coming from mono-ethnic countries, coming to the West and pushing multiracialism. But their country doesn't do it. It'd be different. It'd be different if, hi, I'm Indian and I'm from a multiracial country. And people are like, but David, there's so many different Indians that they're Indian people. Don't think so? Show me a black person that's an Indian citizen. Show me white people that are Indian citizen. Show me Chinese people that are Indian citizen, less than 1%. It's not there. It's just not there. You know, I still am amazed that the FBI director is Kash Patel, who, there's another story. I think he's in a little trouble getting called to the White House, but you know, I think of J. Edgar Hoover, Indian man wouldn't even be special agents, director of the FBI. But MAGA people would say, don't be racist, David. We don't care that Kash Patel's Indian. It's whether he could do his job good. Yeah, you're talking like a corporation. That's how the globalist corporations sound like. Yeah, good luck. We'll see where that goes. Anyway, let's go with this one here about interracial kids.
Man, the white man in my heart. But I would say this, though.
Yeah.
For Caucasians who are procreating with black women or black men, I would ask them Caucasians to be brutally honest with their mixed race African children and letting them know that they are black. Because one of the problems I have working with mixed race children,
I like that.
Their white mother, not so much the white man. The white man, in my experience, is more honest with his black children. He tells them, you're black. The world is going to see you as black. Yes, your father white.
Yeah.
But the world ain't going, you're right.
Right.
With the white woman, she's different. She's more on this Karen thing where you're mixed race. No, they're not. They're black.
They're black now?
Nobody's going to call them mixed race. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so the mixed race kid grows up, I'm mixed race, until a white person calls them the N-word. Right. And I know children is happening, and then they finally realize, I am black.
No one's going to call you half a slur.
Nobody's going to call you half a slur. Exactly. So then they go back to their white mom and say, why you tell me I was mixed race and the world will respect me as mixed race? The white people, Barack Obama, in one of his books, President Obama, he said, I didn't choose to be black. White people told me I was black. You see what I'm saying? And my thing is, it's best you know who you are from your parents before you find out from your peers. Because when your peers let you know you black, they're not going to do it in a nice way. And so for the Caucasian mothers of black children, stop lying to your children, making them think there's something other than black. The world don't, on a slave plant.
I thought it's pretty interesting. Again, my experience with mixed kids is with Asian, and it's 99%. It's usually a white man and an Asian woman. That's how it is most of the time. So this story I find funny because it's exactly what he said. There's an American man. He's a little older than me. We're good friends. He's one of the few Americans fluent in Chinese. He's more fluent in Chinese than me, which is pretty amazing. Anyway, he's divorced, found years ago, rich Chinese woman, and just like I keep saying, rich black women, rich black men, they want to get the prize of what, same thing in China. So rich white woman, her goal, her dream was to get a white man and have mixed kids. Is what it is. It's nothing abnormal. Not for me, but for him. He said in his younger days, he thought it was no big deal. He's got a little regrets. So remember the story he's just saying about the black, how the father is more honest and the mother is like, no. Well, they had mixed kids. And because they're so rich, they wanted to send the kids to, they lived in America, then they lived, I mean, she's rich, but at the time, they sent the kids to LA to an international private school in LA. The mom's loaded. So the school is mostly, though, with white kids. This is in Los Angeles. Again, this is a very international private school. You know, it's whatever, first grade to 12th grade, high school. And the daughter, so they have a mixed daughter, is getting racially, whatever, picked on. She's mixed, but just like he said, she looks pretty Chinese to me, or Asian. And so she was getting picked on at school. And the mom would say the same thing. No, you're white. You're white. And finally, the daughter went to my friend, the father. He told me the story because the guy, we see eye to eye. Once you've lived like this, you'll change. And anyway, the daughter's like, Dad, I hate my school. The girls are picking on me and they called me a gook. And you know what the father said? Well, you are a gook. It is what it is. Be proud of who you are. You are Asian. Stop pretending you're fucking white. And that at least gets the ball rolling. That's not going to solve all the problems, but stop fucking pretending like these people. But I see these half kids, they don't look white to me. What did I keep saying about identity? Who do you identify as? Who do other people identify you as? Are you positive with your identity? Those are the 3 levels of psychology. But the first thing is, sorry to break it to you, you may think, it's like the guy saying, I'm a woman. You may, as a guy transgender, think you're a woman. But I'm telling you, the whole world is looking at you and thinking you're a man. So the same thing with the mixed girl. Probably, unlike the mother, the father, my friend, is like, no, you're Asian. And when they call you gook, it's a bad word, but it is what it is. You're Asian. And either figure out a way sooner or later and be proud you're an Asian and stop pretending you're white. But it's an interesting story. But people, like I said, even the MAGA people are like, man, race doesn't matter. Even Charlie Cook, there's videos on Charlie Kirk. I'm like, I don't know what this guy was studying. Talk about a political tool. Race is real. And if you don't believe race is real, you are about as retarded as people who say gender is not real. Anyway, let's keep going with this. This is the clip about black men and women, or black women with white men.
Almost a year ago from now, why do black women with white male partners have some of the lowest divorce rates? Now, this is actually not my question. This was doing the round on Threads a couple of days ago. I saw it just before I was going to bed, and I thought I wanted to talk about it because I've actually talked about this before, oddly enough, like almost a year ago from now. I think the answer is really obvious. I just think there's some discomfort around it. Now, first, the boring part. I did some research. Most of the data that we have is unfortunately just from the US. There isn't that much data about us in the UK. I imagine that this will shift across generations, of course. But according to US Census research, black women married white men and have around a 44% lower divorce rate than white couples. The reverse pairing, a white woman with a black man, is the opposite way. It is nearly double the divorce rate of white couples. Interracial marriages overall, if you lump all of the different pairings together in the US, they tend to have a higher divorce rate, but that specific pairing of black women and white men often comes out consistently as one of the most stable. So ultimately, we're talking trends here, we're not talking rules. You know, this doesn't apply to everyone. If this doesn't make sense for you, then it doesn't make sense, and that's fine. Full disclosure, of course, I'm mixed. My father's white, my mother's black, so a lot of this is part from research and a lot of this is lived experience too. I think the part that doesn't get talked about enough, that of all the 4 groups involved, white men, white women, black men, black women have to be the most discerning. They're the only one in that group who navigate both misogyny and racism simultaneously. On the other side of that spectrum, white men experience neither of those things. Ultimately, what this means, of course, is that black women have way more warning signs to read, and they have to assess more risk, and they have to anticipate way more labor when they choose a partner, because the margin for error for them is smaller. You compare that with black men, of course. Now, yes, they experience racism deeply, but they also benefit from the patriarchy. Being a man...
I just ended it. It gets a little boring. It's fine. What do I think about the whole white woman, black man having the highest divorce rates and the black woman and white men? Well, I explained it before. I think black women realize they will, sooner or later, that on the dating market, they're at the lowest level. So they're very thankful for what they get. And if they get a white man, they hit the lotto. It is what it is. I didn't say it. This is the observations of human nature. So they don't want to lose that. They know they got the lucky ticket. A white woman, she could be doing this because, let's face it, that's another reason why women should never have been allowed to vote. Women get emotional, like they want to piss off their white father. They want to rebel, and they're like, "Man, I'm going to be with a black man." And then they're with them and they realize that white women, she's at the highest level of her status, of women, white women, and black men are not at the highest level. They're not at Asian men's lower level, but they're not very high. And she realized, what the hell did I get into? It's sort of like, you know, when you're in courtship, at first it's cool, it's exotic, it's rebelling against the system, it's showing the world I'm not racist to the white women. Then she gets in there and she's like, what the hell did I do? I'm a white woman. I deserve better than this. And then they're getting divorced. It is what it is. That's something to look at. But anyway, let's go to the next one.
Sew-ins. I love a good sew-in too. No shade to that.
This is another video. I want to say this. This is the black women. Not like you care about my opinion, but people do care about people's opinion for a little bit. I've said this many times to the black women. You wearing fake hair, most of the hair, and I'm not saying I'm very familiar with it, but meaning the fake hair. The fake hair for black women to Africa, it mostly comes from Asia. It's a huge industry in Asia. So the Asian people are not going to appreciate, I'm saying this because they're making a lot of money out of it, but meaning they make a lot of money out of black women's demand to buy fake hair. What do I think as a white man? And I don't really date black women, but I'm telling you, to the black women, not only will show more confidence with you, but I've always said your natural afro hair, I don't think it looks that bad. I really don't. I think it actually looks good in some ways. But when you put on fake hair or wig, it just, you know, I'm talking about, I don't want to be the cuck says cultural appropriation, but that's what it is. It just shows you that you think straight hair, which is not genetically your hair. So anyway, like I said, you'll see the clip, but my advice to black women is your afro hair, it's not bad looking, and to wear fake hair, it just demeans you to the point of you believe that hair from another race, because most of these are Chinese girls that are giving your hair. So I guess you wish you had Chinese hair. Okay. And the Chinese know about it. They don't say anything bad because they make a ton of money off this. But anyway, let's watch the video.
That at all.
Okay.
Thank you.
How do we get more black women to be like you with the, you know, natural hair?
Oh. With more natural hair, we need to.
Yeah, look at that. I think her afro hair looks nice. There's no reason in the world, if that woman asked me, should I get fake black hair, fake whatever hair, I'd say, why? Your afro hair looks good to me. And it just shows off. You have more confidence. And that is, and you know what men appreciate? Natural beauty. I would just say, I mean, I don't know why black women are so into this fake hair. Just do your afro. It looks good.
Love on natural hair more. You know, people are always encouraging sew-ins. I love a good sew-in too. No shade to that at all.
Okay.
But just encouraging it more, and yes.
Okay. But see, my thing is, like, a lot of black women say it's okay for other black women to wear like the sew-ins and wigs and things like that. But I feel like maybe it paints a bad example for the black woman, because maybe it kind of shows that they're not all the way confident with their natural hair. What do you think about that?
I disagree. You know, if people go and be doctors, doesn't mean I can't be a lawyer. You know, you don't have to be the only. Yeah. No, I mean, just think about it. Just think about it. Just think about it. You know, you don't have to be setting one perfect example. It can be many things that are a positive visualization of what it means to be a black woman. You know, a sew-in can be a curly sew-in. A sew-in can be a fro. You know, you can get some leave out that's curly, matches your hair type. I think that you shouldn't put people into a box, but you should encourage it when you see them doing what they want to do.
Like I said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So when you're trying to attract women, women are the deciders. And when women are trying to get men, men are the deciders. But yes, it is. If you're wearing fake hair, it shows you're lacking confidence, that you wish you had straight hair. And it shows you don't like your afro hair. Spartan Sadekers talks about cosmetics. I've said the same thing. Cosmetics is a waste of money. It's very unhealthy for your skin. My advice to women that I date is two things: zero makeup, or such little makeup that I literally have to look at you and say, are you wearing makeup or not? Like it's that little. But I think makeup, now sure, there could be special parties. You know, in Asia, they do cosplay. I don't know, maybe it's Halloween party or maybe it's a Christmas party. Women all like to look special. I get that. Maybe 1% of the time, 5% of the time. But we're talking 90% of the plus time, to even include we're going out for dinner, something like that. Don't wear any makeup. I mean, obviously, moisturizer, natural moisturizers, organic for your skin. I get that. But cosmetics, makeup, I've seen, especially women too, It looks so unattractive when they have heavy makeup. It's like I'm kissing Ronald McDonald from McDonald, the Ronald McDonald's clown. Like you look like a fucking clown. It just doesn't look attractive at all. So my advice to women is, by all means, keep your skin healthy and moisturized, whatever you got to do. But when it comes to makeup, zero or so little makeup that men have to guess, do you have makeup or not? But anyway, back to the black women. I don't think your afro hair looks bad at all. I don't understand why you want straight hair. It's pathetic. It's just, for lack of a better word, it's pathetic because it basically says you wish you had black hair. That's why you're using it. Well, you don't. So I don't know. What do you want to do? Just wear your afro hair. It looks better, stuff like that. Anyway, let's go to another thing about this whole black issue.
I would ask them Caucasians. I would say this, though. For Caucasians who are procreating with black women.
My bad. That was a double video. Let's go. When, I don't want to boast here about women. And like I said, living in Asia, I've changed my mind, and even in like beauty pageants, like a beauty pageant, I just don't even see how beauty pageants now are multiracial. Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, think about Miss Universe, Miss USA. There needs to be an African, European, Asian, because the way I look at it is, now it is possible to have an ugly white woman and an attractive black woman and say, I take the black. But we're going to say they're all generally whatever. They're at the same level. Well, I'm looking at the white woman just because my own personal, now remember, there's a difference. I'm not saying that white women are more attractive than other women. It's just my personal preference. The problem is, to anyone who doesn't like this, is if you take the personal preference of all the men in the world, guess who's going to come out in top? Blonde hair, blue-eyed white women. So to the women who don't like that, maybe you want to convince your own men, convince your own black men, convince your own Asian men, your Indian men to stop chasing white women, and it's the same thing with the women chasing white men. But look at this video. When I see this, I even forgot what this girl's name. She's like a German girl from Dusseldorf. She's like a famous model. I forgot her name, but are you kidding me? Look at the beauty of this woman. And you tell me why men throughout the world are not searching for women like this. And like I said, it's not that we're boasting. I would think it's better that black men find black women attractive. Asian men, now generally speaking, Asian men are happy with Asian women, but they still look at white women. The same thing with Indian men. Find your Indian woman as the most attractive. It comes into respecting your mother. It's a form of respect. If your mother is Indian, go to your mom and say, Mom, I find the most attractive woman in the world Indian. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of patriotism. It's a sense of loyalty to your own family. If you cannot be loyal to your own family, you're not going to be loyal to the country. Anyway, here we go.
Give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now.
I forgot her name. What was her name? Claudia something, some German girl. Wow. Pretty beautiful girl, I would say. Here we come, another video coming.
Wait. Would you date him?
No, because he's black.
Wait. Wait.
He's lighter than you.
You don't date black guys?
No.
Why is that? Have you ever dated a black guy?
I've talked to a black guy.
Did you smash?
Yeah. I wouldn't date one.
It's not your preference. You don't find them attractive, or?
I guess it's both of those. I used to like them, and then I kind of grew out of it.
So you're black.
Uh-huh.
Would you rather date a black man or a white man?
A white man?
For real.
Would you rather date a black man or an Asian man?
Asian man.
Would you rather date a black man or a Latino man?
Latino man.
Would you rather date a black man or a Indian man?
So again, a lot of people would look at this and say, well, she's just one woman. It's just her personal opinion. Don't extrapolate. But that's what we do. And part of research and education, you do. This is part of stereotyping. But I'm telling you, there is a problem, because if you go back into the world hundreds of years ago, it wasn't so multiracial. So we didn't have these conflicts. But now that we are living together, at least in the West, not in the non-West, we are starting to see, and it is what it is, the black women are chasing the white men. You don't see it that much. Why? Because white men generally don't prefer black women. Just is what it is. Guess what the black men do? They are chasing the white woman. Generally speaking, white women don't prefer them. But then again, there's a rich black, where there's a rich black man, there's a white female prostitute. They go hand in hand, but it just comes together. Now, you might say, yes, but should we make laws and rules? Well, there is, and these are other videos, but I'm just trying to say one thing right now is before, and I say this, and this video is about black people, but we could do it with other races, but I say this all the time. Before, to the black Africans, before you can expect other races to respect you, respect yourself. You don't care, just like Black Lives Matter. You don't care about blacks in Africa. You could care less. And what would be respect yourself? Respect your black mother, respect your black father. And it is a sign of respect to find racially someone who's like your mother and father. Trust me, your parents would like it too. But this is where, hey, look at the Jews. Talk about finding a non-ethnically Jewish person. That's a big deal. They don't like it. I think it's cool. I respect. The Jews are an extremely racial group. How they don't get away with being such racist, it's beyond me. Well, it's the same thing with the Chinese. It just seems to be everyone points the finger at white men because it just seems to be the easiest target to say racist, racist, racist. But if you really look at these other groups, even think about black people. You don't think black people, when they get power, how racist they're going to be? I don't know. South Africa. You as a white person want to live in South Africa? So again, I don't want to change the topic, but about this black woman. Is she an anomaly? No, she's not. Not at all. So I would say, like I said, to the black people, when are other races going to respect you? When you respect yourself. And that would include your dating preferences. When you're a black man and say, I prefer black woman, especially if you're a rich black man, which means you have options, you say no. Same thing with a black woman. You know, you could be like the tennis stars, a rich black woman, and say, nope, I prefer a black man. That's a sign of respect for your own people. Then other races will see that. But think about it. You don't even want to live in your own countries, or at least where you've come from. It's like, think about white European Americans. Would white European Americans leave America and move to Europe? They will. Or Australia, stuff like they will. Will African Americans leave America and move to Africa? Good luck. Anomalies. So it's that sign of respect. Don't expect others to respect you until you respect yourself. And I don't think black people care about other black people. I don't think you care about your black culture. I don't see you learning African languages, wanting to study at African universities. Think about me. People are like, well, I was, or you might say, but I was born in America. I mean, I was born in America, but I actually showed a sign of respect to the Chinese. I left America. I went to China. I studied there. It's a sign of respect. And I've also thought, man, I am happy that I'm white. That's what I learned from China. I could say good stuff about them. I could say good stuff about the Japanese. But at the end of the day, I thought, man, I am very thankful that I'm of a European race, and I would prefer my children to be European. So I know if you're an African American, you were born and raised in America. That's not stopping you, just like me, to moving to Africa and saying, hey, I think I grew up, there was like this television series called Roots, Roots, for black people to go back to Africa to learn about their roots. I don't think that's happening that much, but that's a sign of respect. If you're an African American saying, I'm going to leave America and I want to live in Nigeria, whatever your roots are, Kenya, for 5 years. And I want to learn that local language. I want to learn that culture. Maybe then you'll either stay because you love it, or if you do come back to America, maybe you'll appreciate more what America gave you. Because otherwise, why would you come back? You'd stay in Africa. And then it would be a good sign because people would see and say, wow, you really look highly upon the African culture. You say, hell yeah, man. I learned to speak whatever their African languages are. I went to universities there because Black Lives Matter. And I was there and I was helping out black people. Then white people would say, wow, what do I think about Black Lives Matter? Total bunch of horse shit. Just total bunch of horse shit. What do I think? Why? Because I think nine out of 10 times these Black Lives Matter people, first of all, if they could get with a white man or white woman, they're gone. They're out of here. If they could leave the black community and live in the white community, they're gone. I mean, it's just talk about cultural appropriation, except for the English language, which that is a European language. That's a white language. I don't think black people are interested at all studying any African languages. You see what I'm getting at? The point is before you can expect others to respect yourself, to respect you. Respect yourself. Show that the world that Black lives matter. African culture matters. Africa matters. Show us. I don't think you really care about it at all. Anyway, let's go to one more video and then I'll look at some comments. Last video.
Listen to some of what she said.
Okay, so this is not Black Lives Matter, but oh no, actually she is. I thought she was like a Arab, but no, she's I guess Somali, so she's definitely Black.
To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights.
Wait. Stop here. You can't make this up. Who are we talking about here? Omar fled Somalia, a failed state, a country ravaged by civil war, corruption, and poverty, and she spent years in a Kenyan refugee camp. I hate that for her. I really do. She resettled in the U.S. as a refugee. So happy for her.
Now, I don't know what's going on. Remember Tucker Carlson, where I really thought was this guy's going to the moon? And remember, he's like, race doesn't matter. I don't care. Well, this is the same Dr. Phil. These are all these. Remember, MAGA was supposed to be different. Donald Trump nationalism. It's just the Republican corporations all over again. So here you got Dr. Phil, who's a multi-millionaire. And what does he say? Race doesn't matter. Dr. Phil, have you ever been a racial minority? Him with his rich white ass, he was probably to this day living in a rich white neighborhood. How does he know? But you see these are not Democrat liberals. We always like to say the liberals are retarded. These are MAGA people. These are Republicans. And guess what? Race doesn't matter. I don't know how retarded that is. Once you leave America, but we'll keep going. But this is the same thing. Dr. Phil, he thinks it's awesome that non-whites are coming to America. Just as long as, you pay your taxes, you follow the law, we're Americans, man, and we're not bound by race. I think the only thing we're bound by is fucking money. That's the only thing we're bound. Why? Because we're a corporation. But this is the same stuff. Here he goes.
She was given housing, afforded education, opportunity, freedom. She became a citizen in 2000 at 17. Again, so happy for her. Thank God she escaped that terrible life. And she was elected to Congress, one of the first Muslim women in the House. The American dream.
Notice, this is the problem in America. You have young white men and they're looking for role models. Here's Dr. Phil. I mean, this guy's a superstar, rich, famous, MAGA. And what is he telling young white men? She's a Muslim. She's in Congress. She was a refugee. And I think it's fantastic because he's like, I don't care. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if it's like, okay, well, what do you care about, Dr. Phil? It's just money. That's all it is. That's what we are. We're not a country. If you're going to be a country, you have to have a people. We learned this in the military. That's why we don't have a military anymore. We have they're government mercenaries. And I'm not against mercenaries, but you don't thank mercenaries for their service. You don't say, thanks for your service. No, the mercenaries are not doing it for you. They're doing it for a paycheck. But it's the same thing. We're just a corporation now. But this is what young white men look up and say, Dr. Phil. And he thinks it's just dandy that these refugees and all these people are coming here. But at the end of the day, as long as they pay their taxes and make money, that's his only issue.
She has every reason to be thankful. Is she? Not even almost. Instead, she spends her time bashing the very country that saved her and her family. Here's more of what I consider garbage.
I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries.
How about just thank you? Thank you for giving me a soft place to land. Thank you for giving me a track to run on. Thank you for giving me somewhere to be and thrive and grow. And here's the thing. She has the right to say what she's saying. Culturally, psychologically, I think it's disgusting. But does she have the right to say it? Yeah, she does. Just like I have the right to say it's absolutely disgusting. And whoever voted for her now knows who they voted for and should kick her ass to the curb. Most shocking, instead of gratitude for America, she has the unmitigated gall to just spew nothing but unwavering disdain. And this isn't new. In 2019, she said,
"This is not going to be the country of white people."
In 2020, she said, "We must dismantle the whole system of oppression." So oppressive that she came here as a refugee, got all of these entitlements, and was elected to Congress. In June 2021, she compared the U.S. and Israel to Hamas and the Taliban, saying, "We have seen unthinkable atrocities committed by the U.S., Hamas, Israel, Afghanistan, and the Taliban." Really, she puts the U.S. on that list. That's crazy talk. She said lawmakers support Israel because it's all about the Benjamins, baby. When talking about 9/11, she said,
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they...
Don't you find it interesting, Dr. Phil? We're talking about a black woman who should have never gotten American citizenship to begin with. And even Dr. Phil, how are we going to solve this problem? Dr. Phil, do you think we should revoke women's right to vote? That screwed us up. No. Like I said, I mean, remember I keep saying I like the Chinese, but I would never give them Western citizenship. Well, it's for everyone. I mean, unless you're a European, like Somalia, is it possible that there could be good law-abiding Somalis? It could be, but I'm not giving them a citizenship. That's where you draw the line. But what would Dr. Phil do? Well, that's racism, this or that. But how is this subject going back to Israel, like our support with Israel? I mean, it's almost like apples and oranges. Like, it's like focus, Dr. Phil, focus. America first, America first. Which again, women's right to vote, not very smart. Allowing non-Europeans to become, this is where Donald Trump is right, though, about ending birthright citizenship. It's got to end. This system is going to work out one way or another through like I said, the good picture. It's going to be ballot or bullet. This system is going to work out. But if you get with Dr. Phil that, he'd be like, well, I'm not misogynist. Women deserve the right to vote. Well, that's done. And I'm not racist. I don't care who an American is, as long as you believe in the American dream or values, race doesn't matter. Well, then you're just a cuck too. But notice how this subject now is about Israel. I'm waiting for Americans to say, you know something? I really don't give a fuck about Israel. I don't have a problem with Israel, but I just don't understand why Americans care so much about Israel. It's like if you said, hey, David, what do you think about Nigeria? With who? Nigeria, the country in Africa. What do you think? I don't know. I guess it's great. Well, Nigeria needs your support. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? Fucking nothing. That's what I'm going to do. Nothing. Like, I don't understand it. Like Americans, like, do you support Palestine or do you support Israel? Neither. My country's going to shit. So I don't understand. But even this conversation with Dr. Phil, it's shifting now to Israel. It always goes back to Israel. Do they support or not? Maybe the topic is women's right to vote. Not a good idea. Allowing non-Europeans to become citizens in European countries. Maybe those are the two factors that I'd be looking at right now. What's the problem? But let's talk again about Israel.
Recognize that some people did something.
Really? Some people did something. Way to stand up for your country. She accused U.S. foreign policy of being rooted in colonialism and oppression. If this is such a horrible country, wonder why she doesn't return to Somalia. Well, maybe because Somalia isn't the most corrupt country in the world. It's the second most corrupt country in the world. It's 179th out of 180. Somalia hasn't had a stable central government for decades. 99.2% of Somalian women aged 15 to 49 have been subjected to female genital mutilation. In Somalia, child soldiers are recruited by warlords who employ tactics like abduction, threats, and forced indoctrination to recruit those children. Famine, tribal violence. The life expectancy there is 30 years short of the rest of the world. Adult literacy is less than 40%. Religious minorities, they're persecuted. LGBTQ, killed. But in America, she rose from refugee to congresswoman. She has freedom of religion, freedom of speech, security, yet somehow we are oppressors? Get real, lady. What are you thinking?
So, no one is perfect, and we've heard this before. Nothing is 100% good or bad, but this is where I believe Donald Trump is trying to deport her out of America back to Africa. Fully support that, because what is this about? Remember the picture of Black Lives Matter, and what did I say? Black people really don't care about. So think about it. We've given her amazing things. I mean, she's a piece of shit. We know that, but we've given her all this education, all this money. It's time for her then now to go back to Africa and care about Black people. Meaning it could be a positive deportation, permanently strip her American citizenship, send her back on goodwill and say, it is time for you now to show the world that Black lives matter. Go to Somalia. I don't have a problem with Somalia. I don't think I ever want to visit there, but best of luck to them. Build their country. Why doesn't she want to do that? For the same reason that African Americans don't want to go to Africa. It's a shithole. I didn't say that. They did. But really, the way to get respect to the Black community, if you stop calling Africa a shithole and you start thinking that it's a positive place, it's important, you respect it, maybe white people, along with Asian people, trust me, the stories in China about, because there's a lot of Chinese companies working in Africa. If you hear some of the stories of the Chinese talking about their time working for the monkeys, that's not very good. So I don't want to come across so disrespectful, even though some of this is humor. I'm just trying to do humor, but I know calling a Black person a monkey is very disrespectful. It's a little humor here and there. You could say what you want with me, but I'm just saying the whole thing with Black Lives Matter. Does this, Omar Ilmar, which she should be deported, permanently barred from ever coming back to America. It would be a good time for her to go back to Somalia and say, Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to put all my money and talent and resources to make Somalia a better place. They don't care. They don't care. So I'm telling you, back to the Black Lives Matter. But let's just zoom out here, because that's today's video. Somalia sounds a lot like Israel's LBD. Like I said, it's not like, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why Americans are so, and it might not be. I think the typical American, like middle-class American, they're probably like, fuck Israel. Maybe it's the Israel thing. It's our government. Well, I guess it's called Zog, Zionist. What is it? What's Zog? Zionist government, occupied government. It's the corporations, it's our politicians, stuff like that. But if you ask me, David, what do you think about countries in Africa? I don't know. I don't know much about them. I focused on Asia, so definitely, and I've given a lot of respect to China. If you have a question on China, I will either answer it, or if I don't, I'll find out why. Because there's an interest in it. African countries, I don't know. But if you're an American and you're interested in Africa, go for it. I think, though, back to the Israel thing, I think a lot of Americans probably don't care about Israel, and their main problem is stop sending money to Israel. Logic to me. Stop sending our military, which is costing American taxes. Stop sending our, very logic to me. So again, to the Black people, and again, we could talk about other races. I'm telling you, there is a ticking bomb that's happening in America. And the ticking bomb is, as the globalist American empire starts collapsing, it's happening. You're going to start seeing white men, particularly younger white men, because I think my generation X are cocked. We fucked this country up. At least we're not the baby boomers. At least the one good thing I could say is I'm not a baby boomer. But I'm not saying Generation X is all that great. We fucked this up. But I think younger white generations, the ticking bomb is sooner or later, they're going to say, I am absolutely tired of this word called racist, like the white man. And once that momentum starts going, I'm telling you, this could start spinning out of control, because only Western countries are men who've created this countries oppressed. Don't think so. Go to all non-Western, go to Israel. Who runs Israel? The Jewish man. Go to Africa, the African man, the China man, the Japanese man, the Indian man, and it goes down the line. Go to the West. Strong white men, racist, supremacist, you could get sent to jail. There's a ticking bomb. And once that bomb goes, and men are going to be like, that's why, like I said, I say the word nigger here, not because I'm trying to be impolite, because I know it's impolite. This is purely a First Amendment free speech audit. I'm tired of this speech being censored. The same thing with the stuff on the Jews and our speech as a military veteran. If we as military veterans did not fight to defend your First Amendment right to say things that others don't want to hear, meaning they're uncomfortable, then what the hell did I do in the military? What was my whole purpose for? Maybe just serving the corporations. So anyway, I go back to this, but to the black people, I don't have any problem with black people. I think black people are fine. But at the end of the day, race is real. The same reason that women don't want men in the women's bathroom, the same thing, I actually prefer the women not to be in the men's bathroom, meaning I wasn't a fan of women going to West Point. There's separation, but we respect each other. That's the same thing with races, that we can get along, but there needs to be a little separation. What do I think is going to happen in America? There's going to be a split. It's just going to crumble apart. What's going to happen in Europe? I don't know. The Europeans are going to figure that out, but that could be a violent civil war because I don't think the Europeans are going to, and I agree with them, splitting. Where in America, I could tell you myself, do I need to have America to be 50 states? I could care less. This government has betrayed me. This government, I don't care anymore. If it turned out in America that there were 20 states that were sort of like who I want to be, Christianity, European, freedom, I'm fine. I think more and more Americans are going to realize that. They just don't care anymore with these other states, and it's going to start splitting. But when that goes, it's not going to be peaceful. It's probably going to be violent. It is what it is. But back to the black people, I say this. If you think white people don't treat you well, who treats you better? Because you don't even like black people. You don't even like black people. And I can tell you something. If you think the Chinese people are going to treat you better than white people, you are in for a nightmare. Not going to be good. In the meantime, let me look at this. I see Sparn, Patriot Front is the future of America. I mean, Christianity, European white men, that's kind of where I'm seeing the bulk of it. There'll be some split offs here and there. But if you said, David, America's splitting, territory A, territory B, territory C, because it can be split like liberals here. The Native Americans want their land, the Mexicans, the black. Where are you going, David? I'd say, where are the white men? That's going to be my first question. What territory is going to be strongly controlled by white men? Maybe there will be split between, I don't know, maybe different versions of white men, maybe. But my first question is, where are the white men? It's like going to prison, right? You go to prison, you're separated into racial groups. But that'd be my first question. If I ever wanted to come back to America and live, and they said, hey, it's splitting in all these different factions, like America is going to split in 6 different factions. David, where do you want to live? Where are the white men? That'd be the first question. I want to go to the country. Notice I didn't say white women, at least in power, white women present. Where are the white men in power? Well, this state has white men, but they want to do equal sharing with white women. No, not interested. This state's white men 100% have the power and women are subservient. That's the state I'm going. White men in charge. It's going to happen. If you think this American empire is going to be going along, it ain't going to happen. With the stuff that I'm seeing in China, it's not like China's the boogeyman, but I'm just telling you, a new world order is coming, people. These videos I'm making, which are censored and ignored by the Trump administration, because I'm asking, I want to know why I'm on the FBI terrorist watch list. It's a very simple question. These videos are going to age like fine wine. Why? Because you're going to start seeing more. This is not going to work out. This empire is going to fall. And when it unravels, one of the elements that we are going to see that the new America or whatever's going to come that's going to be important is race. It's race. We're going to say we are tired of this bullshit. Race is real and race is important, meaning I don't want to be a racial minority in my own country. This is common sense. Like I said, once you live in countries like China, they make you look like a retard. They're like, how can you even have arguments like that? Like I said, it's like arguing with a person who doesn't believe gender is real. It's like you could go to a 6th grade classroom to a 6th grader and they would say, gender's real. The same thing with race. The Chinese look at you like, are you people mentally retarded? It's as clear as day. I don't know. I think it's just going to get worse before it gets better. Until then, David Baumblatt from Terrabin's Leadership. To the Patriots, I appreciate your support. Telling them, lead to victory.